Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and do me a solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification. I'm just going to keep on bringing you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews. That 40-ish and $100 range. Most of these are way less than that, and a good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. And these three fragrances that I got all three of them very around the same exact time. I wore them like once or twice before I reviewed them, and I was kind of excited about them, so I just pumped out some content on them because I wanted to share them. Now I've spent a bit more time with them so I can more accurately depict the longevity and if they transition and stuff like that. So without going on too much about the introduction, let's see if these three fragrances are right for you. So this first one kind of caught me off guard when I first got it because I didn't know there was a clone of this particular fragrance, and that's Prada Luna Rossa. It means red moon in like French or something, Luna Rossa. So when I found out Fragrance World had a Pride red moon, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and get this thing. It was only like $16, and Fragrance World has kind of been hitting the mark, at least on this scent profile. And I thought if I get like 3 hours out of this thing, I'll just like spray heavy or whatever, and it'll be a winner because it'll scratch the itch, because I kind of loved Prada Luna Rossa. Something about that lavender, orange, mint up top, real light dose of mint, some of this sweet orange and powdery, soapy lavender. But the heart of this thing is kind of creamy and powdery and earthy. It's very sophisticated. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a blind purchase when I got it, complete blind purchase. And I was really happy I got it. So I decided to go ahead and get Fragrance World's Pride Red Moon. And the difference between the two is this one kind of has a little bit more, it focuses more on the citrus and the mint up top. I think on Prada Luna Rossa, I think the mint is a mid and the top note is lavender and like mandarin or something. Whereas this, I feel like mint is probably the top because it's quite mint forward. And I was like, dang, I mean, I can see they're trying to get the Prada Luna Rossa. The DNA is there, but that mint is just, it's capping over top of everything. Like 7 minutes later, it dried down to like 90 to 95% OG Prada Luna Rossa. And it lasted my entire evening, all the way through my whole dinner and until I got home. That was the first time I wore it. It hasn't really gotten any better. I've only had it for a couple weeks now. It hasn't really gotten any better. But man, it is a very good interpretation of Prada Luna Rossa for like $16. So this definitely scratches the itch on that. Glad I picked this one up. I put this in the gem territory. It's a strong average performance fragrance, and straight out the box, didn't even need much maturing or anything like that. It just works. This next fragrance is going to be no surprise. Again, like they copy the bottles on these things. I think like Maison Alhambra copies the bottles, and like Lattafa copies the scent and not the bottle every time. But like Maison Alhambra, no surprise what they're going over here, you know. Chanel Allure Homme Sport, they're definitely trying to copy that. So I love that fresh, sparkly, citrus, kind of creamy, sandalwood, sweet vanilla type of thing. It's sweet, creamy, and bright and super appropriate for the summer at the same time. Whereas you get other fragrances like Versace Eros, which is, it's got a good dose of freshness and vanilla, but it's still too heavy and like loud for like the gym or your ultra high temperatures. Whereas Chanel Allure Homme Sport will work pretty good in the extreme heat. And this does a great job at interpreting it. The difference for me, besides obviously some of the quality is lacking, the main difference is the vanilla is right out the gate with this. With the original Chanel Allure Homme Sport, the Eau Extreme, all of them, it leans heavily on the very bright, vibrant citrus right up top. Sparkly, bright, juicy, vibrant citrus. This one has that tonka bean and the vanilla forward, like all the notes are forward. And then like 15 minutes later, then it dries down more into what like I would say the Chanel catches up to what this is doing 15 minutes into the dry down. As far as the performance, it's not good, but it's not lacking. It's like average 5 hours. Also, the Chanel that is out right now, even Eau Extreme, isn't all that powerful. It might be on some people, but on me, it's not. It's about the same as this, about 5 hours. Good interpretation of a much more expensive fragrance. Somebody asked, what's better, this or Missoni Wave? Missoni Wave is better. Versace Pour Homme is better. There's something about those two fragrances, quality and everything. Missoni Wave is like $40. I need to get another bottle. I lost mine. I love it. But I got this. It's scratching the itch of that crispy, juicy citrus, kind of aquatic white floral, a little bit of white floral, creamy vanilla tonka bean, somewhat woody. There's a little bit of wood, mostly sandalwood in this, but great interpretation of the Chanel. So this next fragrance is not even like listed on Fragrantica or anything, but I have heard good things from other people about it. So again, it was like under $20. I'm like, let me just roll the dice on it because I love the scent profile of the OG. Actually, the whole lineup of these fragrances, I think, really leads me into thinking that Dior is a S tier designer house. As much as it's hated on in some regards, I think the Dior Homme line is just like top notch, and the Dior Homme Sport is no slouch. And this Homme's Sport is trying to replicate that, and this one just isn't as bright. They all seem like they're like that. Well, actually, Prada, the Pride is brighter up top, whereas these two are not quite as bright as the original up top. But then again, 15 minutes into it, the creaminess and stuff like that of the original kind of catches up to what this one's doing. So crisp, juicy, airy, light. It's not loud. It's juicy, light, airy, feathery, creamy, woody, and it's got some pink pepper. I'm a huge fan of pink pepper, and there's some frankincense in here, a little bit of frankincense. This almost has, somehow or another, the accord, in my opinion, of iris. Just a kiss of it. It's just dabbed in there as like that little signature in the bottom of the whole Dior Homme line, except Dior Homme Cologne that doesn't have that. But this one kind of carries that over. I'm not sure if it's coming from the sandalwood and like the combination of that, like the pink pepper maybe or something, but something's kind of giving it that little bit of a twist. It's like not prominent. It's just kind of barely in there. Man, you smell this thing and you just know 100%, if you know anything about Dior Homme Sport, you'll smell this and you'll say, hey, that's Dior Homme Sport, you know? Obviously, quality isn't quite the same, but I mean, it's under $20. And if you just want like a gym bag version of it or something, and you don't want to spend, or you don't want to spray your more expensive one, that's another good thing about these clones. If you have the original, which I have the original of some of these, and I wear these ones more often than the original because these are like my errand versions of them, whereas the originals I wear when I'm going to like the event or something. Performance, pretty good. Solid 5+ hours right out the gate. So I'm assuming after a couple months, all of these are going to start doing better because they typically do that and they get even better. People say that the particles in here, like what my theory was, matches up if you do a particle test on it, that, you know, it's just like the powders and stuff like that because there's solids that get put into fragrances. Somebody even said their Baccarat Rouge 540 had more particles than this thing. So it's a $500 fragrance. So there you go with that. So these three fragrances, they're all like under $20. They are worth way more than that. Well, not way more, like 30 anyhow, but they smell way better than what they are priced at. They do a great job at replicating what they're going after. They are all winners. They are all gems. I give all of these 7 out of 10 plus. This one, maybe like a 7.25. I think this is my favorite one out of all of them. It's the most wearable, universal. It's got enough heart and body. This is probably my favorite one out of the three, but they are all extremely good for the price. So with that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.